Here comes the 2-2. Swung on, fly ball, left field. Goes back, Tollefson. It is gone. A home run for Yuta Nakashima.
Hello, welcome to another edition of the Warren County Coaches Show. I'm Jay Walker with 1230 WAKI Radio. I'm joined right now by Coach Malcolm Montgomery, head coach of the Warren County Pioneer basketball team. Obviously, we're talking Pioneer basketball. And Coach Montgomery, thanks for coming out tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's hard to believe as we tape this, the regular season is over. And we're getting ready for the tournament. It's gone fast this year.
Yes, it has. It's been long, but it's been fast. But usually most seasons come down to that. But this thing has just blazed by.
What are some highlights of the season that you're pretty proud of as we get ready for the tournament?
Well, most of the time of the season, I've been most proud of the buzzer beaters. This has been one of the most exciting seasons. We had one against Franklin County that DeAndre League made one of the biggest shots of his career. We had the three-point play with Nicholas Simmons against Coffee County at home, which he got fouled. He was down by 2. He got fouled in the act of shooting. He made the free throw. And then we had Lee Carter with the tip in as time expired. And it is up to you to say did it count or not against Cannon County. So I think those buzzer beaters what really made the season go.
It's been an exciting year, and of course, we lost the Smith kid, Tucker Smith, about midway through the season for about 6 games, and then he'll be coming back for the tournament, which will be a good thing. But who knows if he'd still been out there, been able to go? Who knows how things might have gone?
Right. I truly believe Tucker missed 6 games, and I truly believe we would have won 3 out of those 6, and it was 5 district games and 1 non-district games. And out of those 3, I think they would have been district games, and I think it would have made us have a better seed going into the tournament. But you know how they said everything happens for a reason, and if we win and have a strong showing in the tournament, I would say it would all worth it.
Now, with him gone, it kind of put more pressure on Simmons at the post to kind of nail that down. And of course, he's a good shooter, not the most physical of post players, although sometimes he can mix it up.
And I think Nick grew up a lot during those 6 games because, like you said, we did have to rely on him to score more in the post. And we know he liked to play a little outside more, but he was forced to play inside. He had double figures in every one of those games but one. And I think he gained some confidence. So when Tucker comes back, hopefully Nick can add to what Tucker brings to the table.
And you brought Jennings off the bench when Tucker went down. How do you think he did?
I think Jennings did well. I mean, he made shots because right now what we was using Ryan Jennings for was that spark off the bench because he really can shoot it. But by moving him in the starting lineup, he had to do more and he had to handle the ball more. He had to defend more. So I think that helped him, and he held it down a lot. I think against against Coffee County, he had 12 points. One game he had 13, he had 4 threes, and they was great looks. So I think he did a good job filling in while Tucker was out.
Let's go back to about the midway point, right after the holidays. You had a lot of games, played a lot of games during the holidays before you started the district schedule. How do you think that worked out? Is that a good idea, or should we start the district earlier?
Well, personally, I think that we should start the district a little earlier, just maybe 1 or 2 games before Christmas, because we don't have a lot of teams in our district, because that gives you an opportunity to get a feel for the other teams, give you an opportunity to scout a little bit more and have some film when you play them the second time. And it makes us don't have to have a very heavy Christmas schedule because we're playing the Sun Drop Rump, and then we'll play another Christmas tournament. Even though I enjoy it because I like playing a lot of games, but far as the league play, because district play is the most important to me.
Right, and the district's been kind of strange this year. Cookeville always comes out on top, but they got beat a couple of times this year. Cumberland County played like gangbusters against Cookeville, then came back we were able to dominate. Probably the most dominating performance Warren County had of the season was over Cumberland County. So it's been kind of a strange season district-wise.
Yeah, it has been, but it's something that I enjoy because the last 3 years that we've been here, it's been one team to dominate the league, maybe only lose one game or going undefeated. But I think this season, even going into the tournament, is going to go down to the last game because, and I know we'll talk more about it, in a minute, that we're going to play the play-in game tomorrow. But if we're able to win that, we have a shot to probably win the whole district tournament. And I think every team that's participating has the opportunity to win it, even both teams that's playing in the play-in game.
I don't think anybody has really dominated Warren County this year, maybe in one game, but not in the other game. We played Cookeville close, losing by only 4 at home after they pretty well took care of us on the road. Of course, it's hard to win at Cookeville anyway. Coffee County came back and beat us, but after we had beaten them, same with Cumberland County. So pretty even district for the most part.
Yes, it is. And I think this season, more than any, it has been the adjustments that everybody's made because I don't think one team truly dominates the league. So you have to, night in and night out, you have to make adjustments on the X's and the O's, different matchups. And that's how we have been able to be a little successful on certain teams because we saw a weakness that we needed to exploit, and we had been able to do that, and it helped us. Even the games that we fell short, but they were still close, we was going down to only maybe not making 2 or 3 plays.
Mm-hmm. And as you look at the roster, there's nobody on there that's not hustling. And we'll start with DeAndre League, point guard, not the biggest kid on the floor, but he may have the biggest heart on the floor. I mean, he hustles.
Yes, he does. I mean, one thing I've been saying since I've been coaching DeAndre League, I just wish he was 6 feet tall because, I mean, how hard he plays to be so small and he plays hard. He plays for the team. I mean, he's really our spark plug. I mean, we go as DeAndre League goes, even if he's not scoring. As long as he's playing hard and setting a tempo, that helps our team.
Another guard, Lee Carton, 3-sport athlete. He can just about do it all. And good basketball player. And he really came on strong toward the end of the season, didn't he?
Yes, he did. I mean, I think Lee really realized later in the year how good he could possibly be. Because even early in the year, I think he was kind of holding back a little bit, kind of unsure of himself. But as the especially district play went on, he got more confidence. And we hope that that'll roll over to next season by him being a senior, that he'll be ready to lead from day one.
And of course, Kendall Rutledge, what a season he had, especially compared to last year. You could see him coming on last year, see a lot of promise there, but his senior year this year, he's really come on, led the team in scoring for most of the year and hitting those threes when you got to have them.
Yeah. One good thing about Kendall, he was basically labeled a shooter, his early high school career. But I think as being a senior, he did a little more ball handling. We had to have him more defensive minded, and I think he stepped up to the challenge there. So I think Kendall had a big senior year, especially in the spots that we really needed him in. I think he came around a little bit.
Yeah, good to see him getting in there, rebounding this year. A lot more rebounds this year than last year. Mm-hmm. So really more all around basketball player this year. Yes,
he really was. And like I said, it came out today, but he made all district team. Well deserved. I think that he really played very well this year. I think he played hard every game. He really competed. So I was very happy for him and proud of him.
And we've talked about Nick Simmons a little bit. One of the best baseline jumpers I've ever seen in basketball. He can hit it.
Yes, he really can. And I think if Nick get an opportunity to go on to play college basketball, we've just seen Nick Simmons scratch the surface when he really learns how to work at it, and basketball becomes very important because that pays for your school. I think, because you can't teach him to be 6'7", so I think he's going to get stronger. He's going to get bigger. And I think he's going to be one of those late bloomers. But for his high school, I think he came around, pretty much as the years went by, really depend on him a lot, in tomorrow's game. And hopefully, he can come through for us.
And Tucker Smith, our other starter, post player, we talked about him coming down with illness, unable to go the full season, although he will be back. But unbelievable job at the post. Not a big, tall post player, but somehow he's able to make the plays.
Yeah, because Tucker's our most athletic guy all around. Speed, being able to jump, being able to move. maybe he should have been a three-sport athlete because, I mean, he's a heck of an athlete. But Tucker came around a lot this year. He started off and on as a junior. And then this year, he started all the way through, played hard every night. And my heart really went out to him when he got ill, and missed those 6 games. Because that's tough as a senior because you don't get those games back. But I think he came through like a champ. He cheered for his teammates. He did everything the doctors asked him to do, and he's back. And hopefully, we won't be one and done, and he can play some more games.
Yeah, let's talk about the tournament because as we tape this, it's the day before the district tournament in Sparta, so a neutral site as the Pioneers take on Coffee County, a team that and I've enjoyed the rivalry, the fan rivalry that has developed over this. I really didn't see this coming. You think it would have been something that's been going on for years and years, but I think it's kind of just now reaching the point where it's fun. They came to our place. Our student section really came to life, went to their place, packed house. Their student section was really giving us a hard time. Our student section was there. So it should be a great atmosphere.
Yes, it is. And you're right. I don't know where that rivalry came from, but we always had close games ever since we've been here. I think only 2 games been decided by more than 10 points. I think we beat them by 10 or 14 one time, and they beat us by 12 the other time. The rest of them been under 5 points, going down sometime to the last possession. So that's what rivalries is all about. Our fan base is getting behind us, theirs getting behind them. I think it's going to be a great ball game tomorrow night. A game that both teams could win. I think it's going to come down to who plays the best, and hopefully it's us.
Yeah, as we said, a neutral site at White County High School in Sparta. Not a place we've had a lot of success at. Of course, usually we're playing White County there, so shouldn't make any difference against Coffee County. This ought to be a good one. 2 teams that don't really like each other, although I know they respect each other. Some of these kids may play together during the off season. I don't know. So, and you've got the Player of the Year, District Player of the Year over there, the Lance Chrisman, and he's plus I guess it's his brother Lucas, who's also there, and I think combined they scored more than 50 points against us. So they're going to be a challenge.
Yes, it is, and about those brothers, we really have to stop one of them. And yes, one is definitely the Player of the Year, and well deserving because I knew he would really be up there. He played well every game. And what was so funny about it is that this is the first time since I've been here someone has won Player of the Year that wasn't at the first or second place finishes in the regular season. So by them, we both tied for 4th going in. So that have to be a huge respect from the other coaches that does the voting for the kid because he played well and he's tough. Like I said, his brother's tough, but if we're going to go leave out of there with victory tomorrow at Sparta, we got to stop him.
All right. Well, Coach, best of luck to the Pioneers in the postseason. We hope you go deep in the postseason this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's Coach Malcolm Montgomery. We'll have more of the Warren County Coaches Show in just a moment.
Programming on WCS TV is made possible in part by a donation from the Caney Fork Electric Cooperative. Programming on WCS TV is made possible in part by a donation from Bridgestone.
Welcome back to the Warren County Coaches Show. We're joined now by Coach Eric Bayard, head coach of the Warren County Lady Pioneer basketball team. Coach, as I was talking to your cohort, Coach Montgomery, it seems like the season's gone awfully fast this year, although probably more games this year than last year. But postseason is upon us, and now it's do or die.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick season, and it seems like it's long with 4 months, but it's actually we played 30 games, finished up 13-17, which kind of exceeded my expectation a little bit. Probably not the district record-wise, but I think it's been a successful season for us. We've had our young kids really develop. Our seniors haven't really contributed much, as far as points go, but they've been really good leaders for us and really helping out as far as that goes. And they've, been been real aggressive with getting rebounds and stuff like that. So we knew what we're going to expect this year. You know, with our two main primary scorers were going to be sophomores, and very, you know, inconsistent, especially when you got to district play with teams that are very, you know, seasoned veterans with seniors all over the floor. So, you know, it's one of those things to where it's a new season, 0-0, and we'll get ready for tomorrow night, see if we can't go up to Sparta and upset a Cumberland County team.
Yeah, as you mentioned, you lost Lauren Wilkinson and Bree Smith. Bree's going on playing college basketball now. Lauren's went to play softball, but she could have played college basketball. So, and that kind of scoring, 75, 85% of your scoring right there. So we knew it was going to be a lean year. We knew we were going to take our lumps, and that's pretty much happened. But it's when you have a season like this, the girls have to grow up fast, don't they?
Oh, yeah, and that's why we scheduled a lot of games early, especially for Hall of Fame week against, you know, 2 or 3 single A teams, 3 or 4 double A teams. So we want to see what we had because, you know, when you lose at that percentage of scoring, not only the scoring but also the defensive efforts, you know, for Smith, and then, you know, Wilkinson being 6'2" on the perimeter defending too, it's a big hit. So, you know, summer we see a lot. But you really don't know what you got until you put the uniforms on and the lights come on, the popcorn starts popping. So, you know, we started out strong in the early part of the year. We got that win, you know, against Canyon County at home, which was a huge win for us. And we got to the new year, did pretty well in tournament play, went 5-2, and then district play. We've had a couple of games that have been close and got away from us, and then we've had some where we've gotten foul trouble and we've had to go to our bench, which is already lean because we lost so much last year, and it's really been a thorn in our side. So, you know, the last couple of games have been really tough on us, you know, losing to Cookeville by a bunch on senior night, and then we also went up to Cumberland County and lost by 19, which they've got a really good young team like we do. So it's one of those things to where you just want to prep your kids, get them ready. And, you know, it's been a tough year, but historically we've been a team that's really stepped up in postseason play. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night and seeing, you know, which girls step up and bow their necks and which ones kind of just fade off into the distance. So, you know, I'm excited. I love tournament play. We've been working on a good game plan against Cumberland County to see what we can do. And then hopefully winning that, we can play Cookeville and Sparta and hopefully make some ripple effects into our district.
Well, Coach, when your team is this young, you worry about mental toughness, I'm sure. And, you know, you get behind, like we did against Cookeville. Sometimes a player, I'm sure it's hard to really stay in it, stay focused, and try to battle back. And this team, I thought, showed some mental toughness. You know, they were down a lot of points against Cookeville a couple of times. First time they really came back and made a game of it.
Mm-hmm. And then up there, we did that. We were down by about 17 early in the second quarter, and we come back and got it down to about 12, and actually cut it down to 6 in the third quarter. And then, you know, our substitutes kind of failed us a little bit. And at our place, we came out, you know, plenty of effort, but we missed a couple of layups. And there's nothing that can dictate a ball game quicker than missing easy shots because, like I tell the kids, and I tell my wife all the time, when you miss a layup, it's usually going to turn into a layup. And we're trying to, you know, fix that problem with our team. But the last 2 or 3 weeks, you know, playing district competition, you know, Coffee County with Luskin, Claiborne, and Tanisha Buchanan, and then you got White County with Lauren Foster and Allison Quillen. I mean, and I can sit here and go through every team and tell you all the players because they've been around for 4 years. So it's one of those things to where you're playing season competition, and it's one of those things to where you go into a game, set your game plan up, and hope it fills out, because usually if it doesn't go the way you like it, you get real ugly real fast, which has happened 4 or 5 times. But the kids always give 100% effort. You know, they go out there, they expect to win, and you know, there's not a game we don't go in the locker room to where they're upset when they lose, because they put in the hard work, the time during the summer. They also during the fall, during conditioning, things like that. So, you know, I hate it for my seniors that we didn't get high in the district, but I'm also glad for my seniors because they've really set the precedent for our team. You know, with double-digit wins the last 3 years, getting 40-something wins is, you know, it's not something that periodically happens in Warren County. So they've done a really good job, and the future's really bright for our team.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it was a tough year to be in a rebuilding year because of all the experience that our district opponents have. You look at Hannah Goolsby, the player of the year over at Cookeville. They really came back strong, although we had their number for 5 straight games. But you knew with Hannah coming back and the Robinson girl coming back, they're a good nucleus on that Cookeville team, and Cookeville's always loaded.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, you know, people will say, well, you beat Cookeville and stuff. It's like, well, we should never beat Cookeville because they have such great facilities, 1, 2. They have a huge population to pull from. And it's just an up-and-coming city. It's a college city, so it's one of those things to where, when you're playing Cookeville, you're playing a lot of good kids. And Hannah, for the last 4 years, I've had to struggle with her. Of course, 2 years ago when she had the mono and had to sit out the last game we played, and then also the tournament game, just her leadership on the bench was key, and it made it tough for us to, play them then. So, I'm happy for her. She got her scholarship to Tennessee Tech, and she's staying in the Upper Cumberland and going to play for Coach Davis up there. I think she'll help him out tremendously. Robinson has come back and become a defensive presence. She's done a great job. And then I think the one key person for Cookeville who's really stepped up this year is Sydney Merrick. She just, when you double on Hannah, which you have to because she's so quick, she just sits underneath the rim and she'll eat you up with those layups. So the very tough team went and watched them play Cumberland County Monday night in Cumberland. Actually, they tried to run with Cumberland, which that's always trouble. We tried to run with them up at their place, and you saw what happened. So it's one of those things to where in the preseason I said they were top dogs. As long as you have Hannah, you're going to be the one. And she's really, her hard work has paid dividends. So they've done a great job this year. White County has always got tough girls. You don't see that top talent they had back in the 90s, but you see kids that just work their butts off and they have great chemistry. Coffee County had 5 seniors, the same 5 seniors that have been in Thornton back the last 4 years, especially with Lusk and Claiborne. They're just great players, great posts. I think when they get to regional play, they're going to, if they see Bradley, I think they can give Bradley, number 3 team in the state, because they got the bigs to go with Rebecca and Copeland. So it's fun to watch everything start to pan out, especially watching tape all the time and things like that. And I hope we're a part of region this year just because it's so fun to be able to scout, to be able to get ready for games and really just compete.
Yes, frustrating. We really don't have much size on the Lady Pine, and we haven't had for several years.
Yeah, and it's one of those things to where my 2 main posts are small posts. They're 5'8", and they play their butts off. And there was when we went to Bradley last year in the region finals and lost over there. They had a picture in the Cleveland Daily Banner that got sent for me from a friend, and it showed Jessie Newby going up against the 6'2", it's the 2 6'2" girls. So it's one of those things to where you have to adjust your whole formula for your season, your whole philosophy, because of not having a true dominant post. And that's why we run so many screening rolls and high screening rolls, trying to free up those girls up top and see if we can't get someone slashing the basket. And the games that we've lost by 25, 30 points, those games to where we weren't hitting outside, and then people were they were hedging the screens, just trying to hold up our post from sliding. So it's one of those things where it's become so much of a chess match this year, especially against district opponents and against the Cab and against Cannon, those teams we periodically play, and to where we're having to put in new offense and things like that to try to free up our posts and our guards to try to get them open. And then you have to hope they hit the lebs and hit the open shots. And especially with a young team, consistency is key. And we've saw that the last 2 games we haven't been very consistent. But for us, Bree Melton has been done a great job this year. She's had to step up to the primary shooter role, the primary scorer. She's also did a great job of finding posts and hoping people when people double on her and things like that. Brittany Myers has done a great job on the perimeter, hitting open shots. We'd like a little more, more consistency out of her and a little more drive and defense, but she's done a good job for being a sophomore. I mean, she's coming off, and these 2 girls were playing freshmen last year, and now they step up and they're the primary scorers for a varsity team that plays in 6 AAA. So it's one of those things where those 2 really stepped up. Cameron Martin has done a great job with the point guard position. And you can see when how valuable she is defensively and on offense, because when she goes out of the ball games, we fall apart. We have to go. Our backup point guard is Bree Melton, which is your primary scorer, which that's never good to have your backup score as a point guard. So it's very important that she's on the floor. And when she does good on the floor and she doesn't get a lot of foul trouble, we lose to Coffee by 10, where we lose to White County by 8. We beat Cannon County. And you can see when she's off the floor and she gets in foul trouble, we're losing by 25, 30 points. So that's just one of those things where we don't really have a backup point guard right now. And tomorrow night when we play Cumberland at Sparta, we're going to have to make sure that, we get our substitutions correct. We got to make sure we get out of foul trouble. We got to make sure we slow the tempo down to where we get good open shots on the perimeter. So, those kids have done a great job on the perimeter. And then, the post work with Rachel, Meg, and Jessie. Those 3 have been our primary rotation for post, and all 3 of them have integral roles that they have to fulfill. And, with Meg being a middle blocker for the volleyball team, she does a great job, getting some height in there and trying to get in people's faces and stuff to make sure she gets someone, getting the vision of the shooter shooters, and then Jessie's just been a jack of all trades. We use her on press break. We use her to roll to the basket, post up. We also pop her out some. So she's actually been a really good addition this year, especially for putting all the minutes she does. And then Rachel Noakes has just been a kid that, when she came up, she was a short post. She didn't have many skills, and she's worked so hard the last 4 years. And when you tell her to do something, she's absolutely coachable. She's going to be her and Meg are both valedictorians. So they just have a lot on their plate, because I can't think about when I was in high school having to just concentrate on academics, especially like calculus and human anatomy and physiology and stuff like that, and then actually trying to perform on a field or on a court. So she's very aggressive. She takes charges for us. Just amazing kid that I'm really going to miss. Not because of basketball, because she's just a great person. So, that's basically been our components this year, is those 6. We're trying to work in a couple of other girls to see if we can't get some honest minutes out of them, because if we get in foul trouble tomorrow night, or whether it be in the semifinals or quarterfinals of region, we're going to have to go to someone on the bench, and those kids are going to have to really step up. And that's the thing, we've got everybody coming back except for Meg and Rachel, and I'm really excited about the next 2 or 3 years for Warren County basketball.
And again, as we tape this, we're one night away from the start of the district tournament in White County. Warren County taking on Cumberland County, a team that we split with during the regular season. So this is not only the rubber match, but this is the big one. It's do or die. We got to win to advance. And if we don't, then we're going to be sitting at home and then looking toward next year.
Yeah, and that's Cumberland County's just they were where they're at. The close games are Clark Range, York Institute. Just they're 15 minutes from some top caliber competition in A and also AA. So
they're playing some good ball right now.
Exactly, and they've really come along. Allie Hyder, the little redheaded guard, she had 28 Monday. She's just exploded the last 3 or 4 weeks. And then Isles, she was actually had a broken nose during our game down here, so she wasn't able to play. But she's probably the best shooter from the corner I've seen in a while. And, when they go in offensive transition, if you don't get back to the corner, she's going to drop it. And she dropped it 3 times on a straight possessions up there. So, we got to cover those 2 shooters, and then we also have to make sure that they got some young kids that can just flick it. And it showed Monday night. And they had one freshman. She wasn't even in the scorebook for one of our games. She had 3 threes. So, it's one of those things where you have, and that's what tournament play is about. It's about your primary defender taking out their primary scorer and seeing who's going to step up and score. And, that's what I'm hoping to see tomorrow night, win or lose, is I want to see who wants to step up and score, who wants to step up and play, and then really who's going to shy away, from the limelight. So tomorrow night we'll answer a lot of questions. It'll answer the question whether we reach our goal of going to region or not, and then it'll answer the question about who's going to step up and play for us and be on the team this year. Because really we only have 2 seniors, and we've got a really good 8th grader coming in with Madison Mason, who will help out Cameron at the point that she'll probably go to the point guard her sophomore year. So it's one of those things to where you can start to see this team developing over time, and do or die tomorrow night. You hate to see your season come to a close, but it's one of those things to where it's in my heart, I think that this has been a great season, and whether we win or lose, I think it's been successful.
All right, Coach, we got to wrap it up. We thank you so much for coming in, and best of luck against Cumberland County in the tournament.
Thank you, Jay.
And that's going to do it for this edition of the Warren County Coaches Show. I'm Jay Walker. We'll see you next time.